Welcome back. Today's Young and the Restless episode raises questions that no one is ready to answer. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, August 20th, indicate that Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, will be stressed out about something, as Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, and Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, clash. Plus, fans can expect a splashy return. Sally worries over Bill's latest chancellor scheme. Chelsea and Adam clash at the office. Nina Webster returns and reunites with Tracy and Christine. Sally Spectra's worry. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, August 20th, hint that Sally will worry about Billy Abbott's, Jason Thompson, latest chancellor scheme. Who could blame her? His obsession with Chancellor nearly tore them apart mere months ago. With that said, will she also resent Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, for supporting Billy's crusade to take over the company? Sally did stroll into the GCAC, only to see her fiancé and best friend clinking glasses, so will the redhead confront Audra on this? Chatham's clash. Across town, Adam and Chelsea won't see eye to eye on an office matter. These two have been working well as a unit so far, so it'll be interesting to see what they fight about. Will it have to do with Sally, and how Billy ran to Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, spilling the beans on their Newman Media deal? It does feel as if Chatham could be teetering, and that Adam and Sally could gravitate toward each other once again. Only time will tell. Welcome back, Nina Webster. Over at the Shadow Room, the Young and the Restless spoilers for August 20th confirm that Nina Webster will return, as Trisha Cast reprises the role. It sounds like it'll be a fun night as Nina reunites with Christine Blair, Laura Lee Bell, and Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland. Nina might be in town to celebrate Danny Romalotti, Michael Damian, becoming part owner in the Shadow Room, so the three women will happily celebrate their friend's new venture. Still, how long will Nina be in Genoa City? Fans will have to tune in to find out. From my perspective, this storyline pushes emotional boundaries further than before. Sally's stress, Adam and Chelsea clash, Splashy return. Genoa City is about to get another dose of business warfare, emotional pressure, old friendships, and a return that longtime the Young and the Restless fans will have plenty to celebrate. Thursday's episode promises several storylines moving at once, but three developments stand out. Sally Spectra finds herself increasingly stressed by Billy Abbott's latest chancellor ambitions, Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson clash over an important office matter, and Nina Webster makes a welcome return to town. According to the latest spoilers, Sally will have plenty on her mind as Billy's determination to pursue Chancellor threatens to drag her back into the kind of corporate chaos she has desperately tried to avoid. Meanwhile, Adam and Chelsea's professional partnership hits a rough patch when the two fail to see eye to eye. Then there is the much more celebratory side of Thursday's episode. Nina Webster returns to Genoa City and reconnects with Tracy Abbott and Christine Blair, creating what could be one of the episode's warmest gatherings. But in true YNR fashion, even a celebration can carry the possibility of future complications. Sally Spectra is under serious pressure. Sally Spectra has spent a great deal of time trying to build a life that belongs to her. She has fought for her career, fought for her relationships, and fought to prove that she is more than the reputation that followed her into Genoa City. Unfortunately, Sally may be discovering that it is almost impossible to build a peaceful future when the man she loves keeps charging toward another corporate war. Billy Abbott's latest obsession with Chancellor is creating new problems, and Thursday's episode places Sally directly in the emotional fallout. Billy has never been someone who backs away from a challenge. When he believes that something belongs to him, or that he has been wronged, he can become almost impossible to stop. That determination can be one of Billy's greatest strengths. It can also be one of his greatest weaknesses. Sally knows that better than almost anyone. She has watched Billy become consumed by his battles before. She has watched him make decisions based on emotion rather than caution. She has watched his business ambitions affect his personal relationships. And now she may be wondering whether history is repeating itself. Chancellor is more than a company. For Billy, Chancellor isn't simply another corporate opportunity. It represents something much deeper. It represents identity. It represents his Abbott legacy. It represents his complicated relationship with his family and with the people who have challenged him. And it represents Billy's belief that he has something to prove. That's precisely why Sally is nervous. She isn't necessarily against Billy succeeding. In fact, she may genuinely want him to succeed. What worries her is the price he may be willing to pay. Billy has already demonstrated that he can become reckless when Chancellor is involved. His determination can push him into situations where every other aspect of his life becomes secondary. Sally does not want to become collateral damage. She certainly doesn't want their future to be defined by another corporate war. And with everything already happening around them, the timing could hardly be worse. Sally remembers what happened before. One of the biggest reasons Sally's stress matters is because she has history with Billy's Chancellor obsession. This isn't some hypothetical concern. She knows what happens when Billy becomes consumed by business. Their relationship has already been tested by his ambitions, and Sally has no reason to assume that things will magically be different this time. That makes every new move Billy makes potentially significant. If Billy pushes too aggressively, Sally could begin questioning whether he is actually capable of balancing business and family. And considering everything Sally has at stake, that's not a small concern. She isn't simply protecting a relationship anymore. She is thinking about her future. She is thinking about the child she is expecting. She is thinking about stability. She is thinking about whether Billy can provide the emotional security she needs. That makes Thursday's storyline particularly important. Audra Charles could become part of the problem. Another potential source of tension is Audra Charles. Sally recently encountered Billy and Audra together at the GCAC, and seeing them raising glasses together could understandably make Sally uncomfortable. There is no reason to assume that Billy and Audra are romantically involved. But Sally doesn't need to believe they are having an affair to be bothered by the situation. Audra has her own ambitions. She understands business. She understands power. And she has shown that she isn't afraid to make bold moves. If Audra is willing to support Billy's Chancellor ambitions, Sally could easily wonder whether Audra is encouraging Billy to take things even further. That creates an interesting triangle, but not necessarily a romantic one. Instead, it could become a triangle of influence. Billy wants Chancellor. Audra wants opportunity. Sally wants stability. Those three desires don't naturally fit together. Will Sally confront Audra? That's one of the big questions surrounding Thursday's episode. Sally could decide to confront Audra directly. If she does, the conversation could be extremely revealing. Sally is not someone who automatically backs down when she feels threatened. She has learned to defend herself, particularly when it comes to her career and relationships. Audra, meanwhile, isn't exactly intimidated by confrontation. A conversation between the two women could therefore become tense very quickly. Sally might ask exactly what Audra and Billy are planning. Audra could insist that everything is strictly business. But even if that is true, Sally may still dislike the partnership. And that could be enough to create another layer of tension between Sally and Billy. Sally could question Billy's priorities. The deeper problem isn't Audra. It's Billy. Sally may ultimately realize that she isn't angry because Audra is helping Billy. She's angry because Billy keeps choosing battles that threaten the peace they are trying to create. That distinction could become crucial. If Sally tells Billy that Chancellor is damaging their relationship, he may initially become defensive. Billy has never responded particularly well to being told that his ambitions are the problem. He could argue that Sally doesn't understand what Chancellor means to him. Sally could counter that she understands perfectly, and that's exactly why she is worried. That could produce a powerful emotional confrontation. Adam and Chelsea hit a rough patch. Across Genoa City, another couple is experiencing tension. Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson have been working together effectively, but Thursday's spoilers indicate that the two will clash over an office matter. At first glance, a disagreement at work might not sound like a major relationship crisis. But with Adam and Chelsea, business disagreements rarely stay purely professional. Their history is far too complicated. They have been lovers. They have been enemies. They have been co-parents. They have been allies. And they have repeatedly found themselves pulled back toward one another. That makes every disagreement potentially explosive. Why this argument matters. Adam is naturally competitive. Chelsea is independent and equally determined. When those personalities collide, compromise isn't always easy. Adam tends to believe that his strategy is the smartest strategy. Chelsea isn't someone who will simply agree because Adam speaks with confidence. She has her own ideas. She has her own instincts. And she has become increasingly capable of standing up to Adam. That's why Thursday's disagreement could become more serious than either expects. A simple office dispute could expose deeper disagreements about trust, loyalty, ambition, and control. Could Sally be the real issue? There is also another possibility. The current business situation involving Sally, Billy, Newman Media, and the competing corporate interests could easily spill into Adam and Chelsea's professional relationship. The Newman family's involvement in the situation has already created tension. Adam may feel that certain decisions need to be made quickly. Chelsea may have a different perspective. If Adam believes he is protecting Newman interests while Chelsea thinks he is acting too aggressively, their disagreement could escalate. And if Sally's situation becomes part of their conversation, things could become even more complicated. Adam and Sally have a complicated past. Chelsea knows that. Even if she trusts Adam, she understands that Sally has emotional significance in his life. That's another reason why business and personal feelings could become impossible to separate. Adam's complicated feelings. Adam has repeatedly demonstrated that Sally still matters to him. Even though their relationship changed, the emotional connection between them hasn't simply disappeared. Chelsea knows that. And while she may not automatically assume the worst, she isn't naive. If Sally's problems with Billy continue to grow, Adam could find himself pulled back towards Sally. That doesn't necessarily mean romance. It could simply mean that Adam feels protective of someone he once loved. But from Chelsea's perspective, even that could become uncomfortable. She may wonder where Adam's loyalty lies. Chelsea won't back down. Chelsea has changed significantly over the years. She isn't the same woman who once allowed Adam's intensity to overwhelm her decisions. She has learned to trust her own instincts. That means if she believes Adam is making the wrong business decision, she is likely to say so. And if Adam responds by becoming stubborn, Chelsea could become even more determined. Their argument could therefore become a battle of wills. Neither wants to be the one who backs down. Neither wants to admit that the other might have a better idea. And neither wants business pressure to damage the progress they have made personally. Could this be the beginning of a bigger rift? That depends on how Thursday's argument ends. Adam and Chelsea have worked hard to create something functional. But Genoa City has a way of turning small cracks into major fractures. If their disagreement is resolved quickly, it could actually strengthen their partnership. They could learn how to disagree without destroying each other. But if Adam refuses to listen, or if Chelsea feels that he is putting business above their relationship, the argument could become the beginning of a larger problem. And that is exactly what makes this storyline worth watching. Sally and Adam could cross paths again. The more Billy's Chancellor campaign escalates, the more likely it becomes that Sally and Adam will find themselves in the same orbit. That possibility is especially interesting because Sally's current relationship is already under pressure. Billy is becoming increasingly obsessed with Chancellor. Adam is dealing with his own business problems. Chelsea is becoming frustrated with Adam. And Sally is caught in the middle of multiple corporate battles. The ingredients are there for another unexpected Adam and Sally interaction. Whether that becomes romantic remains uncertain. But emotionally, it could be significant. Adam understands Sally in a way Billy sometimes doesn't. Sally understands Adam's complicated personality in a way few people do. That doesn't mean they should reunite. It simply means their history gives their conversations weight. The pregnancy changes everything. Sally's pregnancy makes her current situation even more emotionally complicated. She can't afford to make decisions based purely on anger. She has to think about the future. She has to think about the kind of environment she wants for her child. She also has to consider whether Billy's current obsession is something she can live with long term. That could lead Sally to a very difficult realization. Loving someone isn't always enough. Sometimes love requires boundaries. And Sally may soon be forced to decide where hers are. Billy may believe Sally doesn't support him. From Billy's perspective, Sally's concerns could feel like criticism. He may believe she is asking him to abandon something important. He could interpret her worries as a lack of faith in him. That's dangerous. Because Billy's pride can make him defensive. Instead of listening to Sally, he could try to prove that he can win the Chancellor battle. And the more Sally pushes back, the more Billy might push forward. That creates a vicious cycle. Sally worries. Billy feels criticized. Billy becomes more determined. Sally becomes even more worried. And their relationship gets caught in the middle. Audra's position could become crucial. Audra could inadvertently make things worse. If she continues supporting Billy's strategy, Sally may begin to see her as someone who is actively encouraging the very behavior that threatens their relationship. Audra may not care about Sally's feelings. Her priorities are different. She is focused on business and opportunity. That could make her a perfect partner for Billy professionally. But it could also make her a terrible influence on him personally. The question is whether Billy recognizes the difference. Meanwhile, a celebration is coming. Not everything about Thursday's episode will be conflict. Fans can also look forward to the return of Nina Webster. Trisha Cast reprises her role, and Nina's return brings her back into the orbit of some longtime Genoa City favorites. Nina's appearance is expected to include a reunion with Tracy Abbott and Christine Blair. That immediately gives the episode a different atmosphere. After all the corporate warfare and relationship tension, a gathering of longtime friends could provide some much-needed warmth. Nina Webster returns. Nina has a unique place in the Young and the Restless history. She isn't simply another returning character. Her connections to Genoa City run deep. She has relationships that stretch across decades of storylines. Her friendship with Tracy and her connection to Christine make her return particularly enjoyable. Longtime viewers know how much emotional history these characters share. That means even a relatively simple reunion can carry tremendous nostalgic value. The Shadow Room celebration. The reunion is connected to the Shadow Room, where Danny Romalotti has become part owner. That provides a natural reason for Nina to be in town. Danny's new venture gives the characters something positive to celebrate, and Nina's return makes the occasion even more special. For viewers who have followed these characters for years, scenes like this can feel like a reminder of what makes the show unique. Not every storyline needs betrayal. Not every scene needs a corporate takeover. Sometimes the most satisfying moments come from old friends simply reconnecting. Tracy and Christine welcome Nina. Tracy and Christine are both characters with extensive histories in Genoa City. Putting the three women together creates a wonderful combination of personalities. Tracy brings warmth and wisdom. Christine brings her own strength and perspective. Nina brings years of history and emotional connections. Their reunion could easily become one of Thursday's most enjoyable sequences. But because this is the Young and the Restless, viewers should never assume that a celebration will remain uncomplicated forever. A reunion can open doors to old memories. Old memories can lead to old secrets. And old secrets can lead to new storylines. Could Nina stay? One of the biggest questions is how long Nina will remain in Genoa City. Her return is exciting precisely because it opens the door to possibilities. Could she become more involved in Danny's venture? Could she reconnect with other longtime characters? Could she become part of another major storyline? Or is this simply a brief visit? The episode may not answer all those questions immediately. And that may be intentional. Soap operas thrive on possibilities. A character who returns for one celebration can suddenly find themselves at the center of a much larger story. Danny's new chapter. Danny's involvement with the Shadow Room is another reason Nina's return feels natural. Danny has been navigating a new chapter, and becoming part owner gives him another opportunity to establish himself. Nina's presence could provide emotional support. She knows Danny's history. She understands his complicated journey. And her return could give him a chance to celebrate his success with someone who has known him for a very long time. A rare moment of happiness. Genoa City has been dealing with an enormous amount of turmoil. Victor and Nikki have their ongoing family concerns. Nick's struggles have placed pressure on the Newmans. Billy continues to create corporate chaos. Kyle is dealing with damage control. Adam and Chelsea are clashing. Sally is stressed. Against that backdrop, Nina's reunion with Tracy and Christine could provide a refreshing change. It is a reminder that these characters have relationships that exist beyond the current crisis. Sometimes a little happiness makes the surrounding drama feel even more intense. The larger corporate war. Of course, the business storyline isn't disappearing. Billy's chancellor ambitions remain one of the central sources of tension. Victor Newman has already demonstrated that he is watching the situation closely. Newman interests have collided with Billy's plans before, and the battle could become even more intense. Sally's concern, therefore, isn't exaggerated. She understands the stakes. If Billy succeeds, his life could change dramatically. If he fails, the consequences could be just as dramatic. Either outcome could affect Sally. Victor's shadow. Whenever a Newman business conflict develops, Victor's presence is never far away. Victor doesn't simply see corporate battles as business. He sees them as questions of power. He wants to know who is loyal. He wants to know who is threatening his family. And he wants to make sure the Newman name remains dominant. That means Billy's chancellor strategy could eventually bring him into another direct confrontation with Victor. If that happens, Sally could find herself caught between the man she loves and one of the most powerful people in Genoa City. Sally's difficult choice. Sally may eventually have to choose whether she supports Billy unconditionally or establishes boundaries. Neither option is easy. Supporting Billy could mean accepting more uncertainty. Opposing him could create conflict within their relationship. And trying to remain neutral may prove impossible. Sally might eventually tell Billy something he doesn't want to hear. She loves him, but she cannot keep watching him destroy his peace for another corporate battle. That would be a powerful moment. Adam's perspective. Adam may have his own thoughts about Billy's strategy. He understands corporate warfare better than almost anyone. He also knows how destructive obsession can become. Adam has made plenty of mistakes because of his own ambitions. That experience could make him surprisingly sympathetic to Sally. And if Sally turns to Adam for advice, Chelsea may not be thrilled. That is where the storyline could become much more complicated. Chelsea's jealousy question. Chelsea doesn't necessarily have to be jealous of Sally romantically. Her concern could be much more practical. She may simply recognize that Sally represents unfinished emotional business for Adam. Chelsea knows Adam. She knows his patterns. She knows that he sometimes becomes emotionally involved in situations even when he tells himself he is only helping professionally. If Sally needs assistance, Adam could easily step into protector mode. Chelsea could wonder whether he is crossing a line. Adam and Chelsea need communication. Their argument could ultimately force them to confront a bigger question. Can they separate business from emotion? They have built their partnership on trust. But trust requires communication. If Adam makes a major decision without consulting Chelsea, she may feel undermined. If Chelsea dismisses Adam's concerns, he may feel ignored. Neither reaction is healthy. Thursday's episode could therefore become an important test for them. A bigger triangle of business and emotion. What makes this week's storylines interesting is that they are connected. Sally is worried about Billy. Billy is focused on Chancellor. Adam and Chelsea are dealing with business tension. Adam still has history with Sally. Audra is involved in Billy's corporate strategy. And Nina returns for a celebration connected to Danny. The show is balancing several different emotional worlds at once. Some characters are fighting. Some are celebrating. Some are trying to protect relationships. And some are trying to build new futures. Could Sally finally lose patience? Sally has been remarkably patient. But patience has limits. She may have reached a point where she realizes that simply hoping Billy will calm down isn't enough. She could demand answers. She could ask him exactly what Chancellor means to him. She could ask how far he is prepared to go. And most importantly, she could ask where she fits into his priorities. That last question could hurt. Because Billy may not have an easy answer. Billy's response will matter. If Billy listens, Sally may feel reassured. If Billy becomes defensive, the situation could become much worse. He could tell her that she knew who he was when she fell in love with him. But Sally could respond that people are allowed to change. That's the heart of their conflict. Billy wants to chase the future he believes he deserves. Sally wants to protect the future they are supposed to build together. Both positions are understandable. And that's what makes the conflict emotionally compelling. What could happen next? Thursday's episode may not resolve any of these storylines. Instead, it could push them into their next stage. Sally's stress could grow. Adam and Chelsea's argument could reveal deeper problems. Nina's return could lead to additional appearances. And the Chancellor battle could continue escalating. The most important question may be what happens when these storylines collide. Sally and Billy's future. Sally and Billy remain one of the most unpredictable couples in Genoa City. They have genuine chemistry. They have faced major challenges. And they are now preparing for an enormous change in their lives. But love doesn't eliminate conflict. Billy's ambitions are real. Sally's concerns are real. Eventually, they will need to find a compromise. Otherwise, the Chancellor War could become the thing that tears them apart. Adam and Chelsea's future. Adam and Chelsea also have something to prove. They have shown that they can cooperate. But cooperation becomes much harder when personal feelings enter the equation. Their argument could either strengthen their relationship or expose weaknesses that have been hiding beneath the surface. If they learn to communicate, they may come out stronger. If they allow pride to take over, the consequences could be serious. Nina's return could be more than nostalgia. Nina's return is undoubtedly a treat for longtime fans. But soap operas rarely bring characters back without at least some possibility of future story. Her presence could give the writers opportunities to revisit old relationships while introducing her to newer characters. And if Nina sticks around, she could quickly become involved in one of Genoa City's current conflicts. For now, however, the focus appears to be on friendship and celebration. Thursday's biggest questions. As the August 20th episode approaches, several questions stand out. Will Sally confront Billy about his Chancellor obsession? Will she confront Audra about their growing business partnership? Can Billy convince Sally that he can balance Chancellor and family? What exactly will Adam and Chelsea disagree about? Will their argument expose deeper relationship problems? Could Sally's situation somehow become part of their dispute? Will Adam find himself pulled back towards Sally? How long will Nina stay in Genoa City? And could her return lead to another major storyline? The emotional core. At its heart, Thursday's episode appears to be about people trying to balance ambition with relationships. Sally wants love and stability. Billy wants success. Adam wants control. Chelsea wants partnership. Nina wants to reconnect with old friends. Those desires don't necessarily conflict, but in Genoa City, they rarely remain simple for long. That's why Thursday's episode could be especially entertaining. The corporate stories provide the danger. The relationship stories provide the emotional stakes. And Nina's return provides the nostalgia. Final spoiler takeaway. The August 20th episode of The Young and the Restless is shaping up to be a busy one. Sally Spectra is stressed as Billy Abbott continues pursuing his chancellor ambitions, and his partnership with Audra Charles could make her concerns even more intense. Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson will clash over an office issue, potentially exposing cracks in a partnership that has recently been working well. Meanwhile, Nina Webster returns to Genoa City and reunites with Tracy Abbott and Christine Blair during a celebration connected to Danny Romalotti's new role at the Shadow Room. The official CBS episode guide confirms that The Young and the Restless continues its weekday run and centers on the interconnected lives, rivalries, romances, and family conflicts of Genoa City. For Sally, the biggest issue may not actually be Chancellor. It may be Billy's inability to recognize when business has begun consuming his personal life. For Adam and Chelsea, the argument may not be about the office at all. It may be about trust. And for Nina, the return may look like a simple celebration, but in Genoa City, a familiar face can always become the beginning of something much bigger. One thing is certain, Thursday's episode has plenty of room for emotions to explode, alliances to shift, and old connections to become important again. And if Sally reaches the end of her patience, Adam and Chelsea continue pushing each other's buttons, and Nina's return opens the door to more appearances, the drama could become even hotter heading into the next round of The Young and the Restless storylines.